Isn't usually Infinity Edge a bad buy as first item since you don't have enough crit yet? Are you W-maxing maybe? So Infinity Edge doesn't just scale with crit, it also is the biggest amplifier there is, right? Except for maybe Lord Dominic's technically in certain circumstances, like when they have enough armor. But no other item besides Lord Dom's amplifies as well as Infinity Edge does. So crit is certainly like one thing it amplifies, of course, but because it amplifies crit and crit itself is an AD amplifier with just enough AD, Infinity Edge is already like the most efficient purchase there is. So what do? Because I'm a genius, is I rush Infinity Edge, but I don't like rush it straight up. I build it with alongside like 1 or 2 other longswords. So you can do the math in practice tool, but basically Infinity Edge, by the time you have like 10 to 20 or whatever extra AD from items, is just gonna deal way more damage than Collector. Obviously, when you compare it with Yuntal, it's hard to compare because like they just have like fill entirely different purposes. But Collector is basically what you could consider a burst item. Infinity Edge is also basically a burst item, which also does DPS, but it also just like competes with Collector for burst. And since Infinity Edge definitely does more DPS than Collector, you would think that Collector would at least outburst it, right? Nope, at a certain amount of AD, Infinity Edge already outbursts Collector as well. By the time you have like Infinity Edge and like 2 longswords, that is already the case. You would need to just not get a single crit for Infinity Edge not to outdamage. But 1 crit means that it outdamages. And that is mainly because Collector gives so little AD. Whereas Infinity Edge gives like 15 extra AD. So if they someday buff Collector again, you would consider Collector's first item again, I guess. Yeah, but I don't think they're ever gonna buff it to the extent that it would need. Well, maybe. Maybe a 5 AD buff could do something, but I think it would need to be like at least 10 in order to actually be more useful than Infinity Edge if you just like do a clever build path with Infinity Edge. Because the problem with both Infinity Edge Rush and Collector Rush right now, I've done a video on this on my my Aphelios only channel, is they both literally just get out damaged by building components. Like if I... Hang on. I can cleanse that, but he's probably gonna slow me again. Okay, nice. Oh my god, he didn't dive me when he could have. Ah, and I'm dead anyway. What the f... Yeah, so basically, if you do like BF sword... Oh, sorry. Best example. Say you're rushing Collector, right? You get a pickaxe, you get a serrated dirk, and for 10-25 gold, you can upgrade the Collector. Or you could get like Collector and a longsword, right? That's the amount of AD you can buy with that. You know what actually does more damage than that? Is just buy a BF sword instead. You do more damage with a BF sword than you do completing your fucking Collector. So if you can do more damage by just building the fucking components, why the fuck would you even upgrade the Collector? And then once you have the BF sword, and now it's actually just pretty much just as feasible to finish Infinity Edge as it is to finish Collector. Why the fuck would you go for Collector when you're already on like 1.5 items when you complete your first item? By 1.5 items, Infinity Edge is gonna outdamage Collector. But so you might say like, oh well, clearly, wow, Collector must be really shit actually. No, but it's the same with Infinity Edge. Like if I build Infinity Edge and I do like BF sword into pickaxe, and now for 20 like how much gold is it? 1225 gold. Nice. For 1225 gold, I can upgrade to Infinity Edge. But for 1300 gold, I can build another BF sword, by the way, and that does more damage than upgrading to Infinity Edge. Like, it works both ways. Now, obviously, second item, there's not really anything feasible that I can build that builds out of BF swords, so I wouldn't do that. So what do I do instead is, I just throw in 2 longswords into my Infinity Edge build path. Or in some cases like this, I'd throw in a Vamp Scepter. But basically, I'm just delaying the Infinity Edge purchase until a point where it's actually going to amplify enough of my damage to be worth it. I've done the math, and that's kind of cool. Do you usually study things like this? No, not study. I just experiment. Like, on some intuitive level, I did already know that just stacking components feels good. Like, at the very least, I always have felt that just if you're building towards Infinity Edge, I was never brave enough to say it out loud, really, but I felt that if you were building towards Infinity Edge, building 1 or 2 longswords, it had to be good. Not necessarily because I knew that it mathematically worked out that this is like more efficient than completing Infinity Edge, but like if you base on not enough for a pickaxe and not enough for a BF sword, or like you have a pickaxe already but then you can't afford a BF sword and all you can build is a crit cloak, I could fucking tell that just building 2 longswords was way better than getting a crit cloak, and did not feel like it was handicapping my damage in any way. And so when I was testing with Aphelios, I don't remember what prompted me to test like all of the fucking numbers involved of like collector rush, with Infinity Edge rush, with components rush. But for whatever reason I did, and that's when I actually like saw straight up that, wow, yeah, this is just straight up better than completing an item. The only issue is, so what I actually tested it with, well, I tested with both BF Sword components and double longsword. I also tested with Infinity Edge components and a Serrated Dirk. And so like Serrated Dirk was pretty nice. Like if you're just building straight components for straight, like just dominating lane, the Serrated Dirk just does more damage than upgrading to Infinity Edge, right? Whereas double longsword is like, yeah, it's also like per gold spent, it's very efficient, but because you're not upgrading to Serrated Dirk, you're kind of holding yourself back a little bit. But that's fine because it's not really any more efficient to upgrade to Serrated Dirk. It's just more like it's the same efficiency and you're just doing more of it, so you are rewarded with an equivalent amount of damage. But at the same time, then the problem is you have Serrated Dirk now, so you are forced to do collect a second item when maybe, you know, they had a Scion this game. Do I want lethality, burst item against Scion when I could instead build a Lord Dominic's? Probably not, right? So, yeah, I mean, if you hold yourself back at 2 longswords, it's gonna force you to have to upgrade to Infinity Edge sooner because you're literally out of item slots, so you cannot do anything else with that build path. At least nothing that is efficient. I also tested stuff like maybe Noon Quiver upgrade is also efficient from Infinity Edge. No, it's not. Just has to be straight AD components, no crit. So yeah, that's what I do. I do Infinity Edge rush, but I don't rush it. I do a BF sword. I build a pickaxe. I help myself to a couple of longswords. Now I can upgrade to Infinity Edge, but also I don't have tier 1 boots. I'm gonna build Berserkers. I'm just delaying the actual purchase of Infinity Edge until a point in the game where it's actually incredibly efficient. Because yeah, if you just build BF Sword, Pickaxe, straight into Infinity Edge, no boots, no other longswords, just a Doran's Blade in your inventory, it's not a super efficient item. Like, it might technically actually outdamage Collector, but only because it's a more expensive item. But also that's also not accounting for the Collector damage debuff. I also don't know how to, you know, factor that into stuff, by the way. I have no fucking clue how you would calculate that. But technically, Infinity Edge would do a little bit more damage, but would it be worth the fact that it's so expensive? Probably not. And would it be worth sacrificing the Collector gold generation, the Collector execute? Probably not. But if you're delaying that massively, like instead, you get that BF sword, you get that pickaxe, and then instead of upgrading to Infinity Edge, you do 2 longswords, Berserkers, then upgrade to Infinity Edge. Now is it worth? Yes. Yes, because you have done exactly the same damage or more than if you had upgraded to Collector. But now you also get rewarded with Infinity Edge first item, which scales better than Collector first item. So it's the best of both worlds. You get the snowball potential of Collector, more or less. You don't get the execute, sadly, but you do more damage than Collector. So you do you have the early game power of Collector, but the scaling of Infinity Edge. It's a no-brainer. But yeah, I think the main upside of doing Collector actually is that, unlike Infinity Edge at the moment, Infinity Edge, it used to be when it had AD. When you complete the Infinity Edge, you also gained 15 AD on the purchase. So you gained AD, which is like the most important thing you want on Aphelios. That's why the build path works. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't. But Collector does. You gain, I think, 15 AD from finishing Collector. So if you were to do this Serrated Dirk, like assuming you saw their comp and you were like, I don't necessarily need Lord Dom's second item. I think nobody on this team is going to build armor. So you felt comfortable building Serrated Dirk for the lane power, even though you didn't intend to do necessarily Collector first item. Assuming you do have that Serrated Dirk though, and you do have the BF sword, and now you have the option of either like getting, for example, Infinity Edge, or you can get like Collector and boots. I could see an argument for finishing the Collector and boots instead of the Infinity Edge, because like straight up in terms of raw numbers, you might do less average damage on paper. But the thing is, Infinity Edge's damage would be dependent on critting. Collector, by giving you 15 extra AD on that completion, would give you just more straight up damage than the Infinity Edge completion, because you already have all the AD that Infinity Edge gives you just by having the Infinity Edge components. So, and then there's also the fact that because this is the case, I mean, so you would get more AD immediately from completing the Collector than doing Infinity Edge, which leads to less average damage, but at least more consistent damage. In terms of the damage that you can expect to do 100% no matter what, like even if you get unlucky with crits, you would deal more damage to Collector, and you would also have the Collector execute, which gives you not only potentially extra kills, but also whenever you do get kills, you get an extra 25 gold for them, which again, hard to factor into the efficiency of Collector, but it's a thing. Shouldn't ignore it. And then also, there is literally more AD in the build path of Infinity Edge than there is in the build path of Collector. So now that you've finished Collector, you also get to build more AD directly after than if you were doing the reverse. Because if I was doing Infinity Edge Rush into Collector components, I could, from the Collector components I can do like Shredded Dirk into Pickaxe, but it's better, like it is better to build a BF Sword over Shredded Dirk. It does more damage, even at that stage. So I get to build more AD if I save Infinity Edge until second item. So I could see an argument for it, to be honest. But, like, if you're delaying Collector that much, and you know they're probably going to build armor, is that efficient anyway? Probably not. Probably not. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of considerations here. Right now, I'm just running what I think is the best build path. But the only thing that I really know for sure is that you do more damage not upgrading to anything right away. Just building AD components. That's where I'm at with all this. Okay, it's gonna be a Vayne. Should be a good Aphelios angle. Just like the previous lobby, where they also had a Vayne and then somebody dodged. Just saw another Aphelios YouTube creator basically do your component theory, charted damage on an Excel sheet. He recommended leveling W/E. Yeah, so that's actually the skilling order I started doing when I did that build path. Like I introduced, he basically saw my video and he saw that I was doing like 3 points in W, then max E. That's fine, but I was sort of doing it because I was like, well, you're building all of this AD. Do you really need more AD from your skill points? What if I just do 3 points in W instead? Which is also something I've also done with other builds anyway, even when I wasn't stacking full AD. I know it's fine, so I was like, yeah, this makes sense to me, I'm gonna do that. So that's what the skilling order I was using on the video. So he saw that skilling order. I don't know, like maybe he just saw that I was doing it and thought it was essential, like it was an essential part of the build overall, where you stack AD components but max attack speed. But having tried like all sorts of skilling orders now with this build, I mean, it's not dependent on any skilling order. The 3 points in W into maxing E, that is the best skilling order if you want to scale as best as possible, but it is worse for lane. You are stronger in lane if you max Q. So it's just, I'm just like, it only gives me like very mild irritation that he sort of recommended that skilling order with that video. Because now it just kind of seems like that skilling order is tied to that build, or that build is tied to that skilling order. When I just think he sort of misunderstood, like that's just a skilling order I just have run at various points, and it just happens to be what I was testing at the time. I don't, you know, that's not something I value super heavily. It's something you can do if you want to scale. It should not be tied to the build though. It's its own separate thing. Gonna try this build path today, good luck. Also, the one thing about the build path I'll remember, because I actually made this mistake like yesterday, is if you have the F Sword and Pickaxe, and now you have the choice of like, you don't want to upgrade to Infinity Edge yet, but you have like 950 gold. You could do double longsword, but actually, and it is true that like double longsword is more efficient than quick cloak, but you know what is more efficient than double longsword? Is longsword and a quick cloak. You're actually handicapping your base, even though like fundamentally it is better to build AD than crit. If you are actively choosing a longsword over a quick cloak, you are being inefficient. Because one quick cloak does outvalue one longsword. 2 longswords outvalues 1 quick cloak. Crit cloak and a longsword outvalues 2 longswords. And I realized yesterday there's been many points where I had enough gold for a quick cloak and a longsword, but I was like not thinking about combining the 1 longsword with the 1 quick cloak. I completely disregarded that would be more efficient. So yeah, the build path is like very complicated if you're trying to fully like min-max everything, but yeah, hopefully you get it. Alright, I don't know how Braum is going to fare into Vayne. I feel like Vayne should be quite good into Braum, but we'll see. I mean, I should be really good into Vayne. So hope we can do good in this matchup. For now, probably just going to chill for the early levels though, not bully her as much as I would usually try to, because it's melee versus a ranged support matchup. If I try and trade back, for example, like she just gets a shield from Milio, I won't do damage back, but I'll get minion aggro, so I'll take even more damage in return. So for now, we just chill. Yeah, would have been at least nice to trade back there, but oh well. Especially if she didn't get a shield. There it is. I mean, she got a shield. I'm not going to bother trading back. I can pop a potion just to make sure by the time we hit level 2, we're still healthy enough to contest trades, potentially fight them. Wait, how? What the fuck? How does she level? How have they leveled up? Wait, we need this minion. How the fuck did they level up? What, didn't they level up 1 minion early, or am I trolling? I'm confused. Alright, still want to trade with her. Even though I've got abilities now, I mean, still gonna receive a shield. Okay. We got something off. I shouldn't have hit that, my bad. Falling. Got another shield. We can wait for that to time out though. And we hit her. Nice one. Can I hit her with this? Oh my god. It's barely outside of my range. Oh, there's a whole ass fight going on. It's definitely too late for me to rotate though, so I'm just gonna leave here. Let's keep on farming. Vayne should have Condemn. She's giving up that cannon, by the way. I'm gonna ping my team back. Trying to keep an eye on the cannon while I'm also pinging the map. Okay, nice. She gave up the cannon for nothing. Good. Amelia still isn't in range to help her with the trades, so... Oop. God, this minion block is ruining me. Could have bullied her more effectively. And I misclicked there. Oh my god, I'm still getting minion block. I'm gonna flash away. This is gonna be a fucking horrendous trade, man. That's crazy. Yeah, if I didn't flash away, like, it seems silly, but I was gonna tank 1 auto, 2 autos, maybe a 3rd auto. I take so much fucking damage, like, my lane is lost. So I'm gonna flash, even though I wasn't gonna die, just because I can still win my lane now that I preserve my HP at the expense of my flash. God, if I get ganked... Nah, we're fine. Wukong is the upside. The problem is, I do just lose a 1v2 even with my HP advantage here. So are they gonna try and all in me or not? Because they probably should try, but they don't necessarily know the Braum actually based. So I might just get away with this. Okay, nice, nice. And now she's staying in lane. At a huge HP disadvantage. We'll wait for Braum, but then I can try and look for trades. Especially now Emilia's lost 1 shield. That's like a 17 cooldown on his shields, by the way. It's pretty nuts. Nice one. Wukong was top side, by the way, but I don't know when it will be bot side. It could be soon. Shouldn't have backed out. She was always gonna outrange me. I should try and maximize my trades there until she leaves. Is he dead? Yep. No fucking way. She had barrier as well, by the way. Oh my god. Nice one. I can finish this plating and leave. Okay, this was exactly as Wukong arrived. Oh, we're not actually gonna get the plating. Shit, my bad. I was counting on Braum to finish it, but he left as well. He didn't have to, like, worry about dying or anything. I think he should have finished it, but... Definitely can't finish it now. It would be too greedy. Alright, then also one lesson I'm learning about the component buildpath. Just because you can do double longsword every time doesn't necessarily mean you should. Like, as efficient as damage is, so is movement speed, right? Sometimes I was also going for, like, straight AD every single possible base, when I could also just throw in a pair of boots instead, and that would be really good. You don't have to build the most possible damage on every single base for it to be, like, an effective use of the component's build path. No, it actually hit me through the Vayne Condemn, but this could be a good fight. Okay, nice. There's her barrier that I mentioned, and easy win. Yeah, I don't know if she should have died in that previous death. She couldn't have killed me for sure. But I don't know if she should have died if she just barriered and walked away. Alright, nice. That's all I can get safely. Yeah, this actually probably wouldn't work out as well if I didn't build tier 1 boots, funnily enough. I think the fact that I could stick in, well, as close into range as possible Because I had tier 1 boots, which is obviously very important with white to stick in as close range as possible. I think that was pretty huge for my DPS there, both onto Emilio and onto the Vayne. I don't know exactly, obviously, I don't know exactly what the math is compared to if I just done 10 extra AD, which also obviously would increase my damage, but movement speed I know is just very nice with white. On top of the fact that it also makes you safer. Let's get this cannon before I start rotating over. Swat already looks over though, right? Yeah. Nothing to do then. At least Vayne is gonna miss out on a full wave. Sadly, she got the kill though. But that's also like her denying a kill from her teammates. It's not necessarily a good use of her time. Like I'm sure Talon was gonna die there no matter what. So basically she gave up 6 CS minimum, maybe 7. Just to kill steal. It's not what she intended to do probably, but it is what basically ended up happening. I'm about to hit level 7 by the way. Oof. Ooh. Got her. I shouldn't have thrown my turret so far away, my bad. What is that range, bro? Huh? I could've just kept walking away and finished them in the brush, man, but Jesus. I'm gonna see that again in a sec, but... What the hell? Alright, so here, for example, even if I could finish Infinity Edge, Berserkers, I get more movement speed, Longsword, I maintain my damage. Just one way to delay the Infinity Edge purchase until a point where it's actually super efficient. If I already had Berserkers and I could afford Infinity Edge, obviously I wouldn't prioritize the Longsword. I would just upgrade the Infinity Edge, but there's just one way to keep my damage high while also like delaying the Infinity Edge to a point of the game where it's more efficient. But yeah, what was that fucking range, bro? That is fucking nuts. Should ward here. Look at that damage, bro. Brom did not interact here. Oh, that's vision. Okay, she's dead. That was kind of a silly play from her when she knew Brom was around. He didn't ult, he didn't shield. That's just how one-sided it is. Damn. Alright, I need to base now. This is the awkward part where ideally I should have based on enough gold for Infinity Edge, because now I just don't gain anything from this base. But oh well. Could sell a longsword for Kirkloak and that would amplify my damage. But also I don't feel like it's enough of a big deal to justify just losing on 105 gold. Especially when I might just not crit in a fight anyway. The longsword at least is more consistent even if it's less average damage. Obviously what I could do, actually, and you know what? Maybe I should have done it this game, is I could have upgraded this Reddit Dirk. I would be fine doing Collector a second this game, I think. Okay, Wukong bots out again. We can keep the wave frozen here. Oof, missed. But we know Wukong is here though, we shouldn't be engaging. I'm just gonna ping it, because I'm not sure he realizes Wukong is bot side. I mean, as far as we know. It was bot side recently, we shouldn't assume he's just gone. Ward could be good, but Wukong might be in the brush, so I need Brom with me. It feels like Wukong is in the brush, because Miller just keeps moving up like he's trying to either protect a pink or follow up a gank, and it looks like he's trying to follow up a gank. I want to let Brom dash over to me, nice. Oh shit, my bad. We'll just disengage here, we don't need to fight. Fucking hell, I'm dead. No, please die at least. Yeah, this is like terrible from Brom though, it's like I said. We knew Wukong was bot side, he refused to respect it. Didn't go clear the ward when I wanted to. Like, we both face checked into Wukong, or like at least placed the ward while he was around. We could at least like 2v1 him, even if Mila's following up, like who cares. But he wouldn't follow me. And then when I was in lane because I needed to loss it, then he walks up by himself. Overall, he took a terrible approach to trying to deal with the Wukong being bot side. How big was my shutdown? Not that big, but fucking hell, both kills went to Vayne though. Actually, the Braum had a bigger shutdown than me. And she got both, so that is actually a crazy throw in our lane. Luckily, Kata was there for the cleanup. Yeah, but we threw our lane though. Like, it's still good, maybe for the team overall, but... Like, is it the best considering how ahead we were, is that the best thing our team could do with our lead? The fuck no. We ended up like 300 gold ahead when we had the sort of lead where we should end up 1,000 gold ahead in every play, you know? When you're that ahead, you cannot just be content with getting slightly ahead and being like, oh, the Vayne got the big shutdowns, but, you know, we gained slightly more gold overall, so it's fine. It's like, nope, that's how they make a comeback. It went from hopeless to having hope. Wukong is still bot side, by the way, and he's not just gonna leave now that we saw him. He will stay. He will keep on trying to play for bot lane for whatever reason. He's shown that that's what he wants to do. So what we shouldn't do is walk up and invite them to fight us and try and fight back. Like, if they overextend trying to fight us, I'll fight back for sure, but... Like, I can tell Wukong has to be around. Just gonna ping that to Braum. Like, that's why she's trying so hard to force a fight. I'm gonna place a ward in here. Like, I know Wukong is in the lane. Their like, actions are just making it incredibly obvious. I'm gonna keep pinging there, because this Braum just doesn't take a hint. Like, why is he positioned so aggressively? At least we have Talon around now. But yeah, there he is, exactly where I called it. Also getting TP'd on now. Who's this by? Kale. I fucking missed, god damn it. Got her. Fuck, hang on, I fucked it up. Oh my god, I don't have damage. Okay. I need to lifesteal! Oh my god. No! Casanotto? Oh my fucking god, bro. Jesus, okay, I played that really bad, but it worked out. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so lucky they didn't try and kill me while I was hitting minions, because I needed the fucking lifesteal or the ranged ones were gonna kill me. Jeez. Okay, we're good. The Vayne actually like caught up and basically had one item to match my one item. Like that we actually had thrown the lane really hard, but now that we won this fight, we're very solidly in the lead again. Fuck it, I'm just gonna try collect a second, even though I have the option of Lord Dom still. As well. The comp shouldn't get to, thank you though, at least not yet. Oh man. Oh, thank god. Nice one. Wasn't gonna be a big shutdown even if she did die, but... would have been unneeded. I'm also so lucky, by the way, that Kill didn't have fucking ult. If she had ult, I was gonna have to like go on her teammates, who apparently were all still like full HP. Get her! No fucking way. He has ult, he should use it, I feel like. Really? You're gonna invest flash and exhaust over your ult? Wait, he ulted at the end anyway, but like, why not just lead with the ult? What the... That was weirdly played. That ain't good. Let's try and get this turret. I would go for the camps, but... I need something bigger than camps right now. Is that Vayne that just got a triple? Yep. So she is definitely still in the game, sadly. Oh well. I should still hopefully I'll skill her anyway. But she might actually get stronger than me in the mid game now if she also gets 2 items. Okay, this is down. Maybe we even get to choose the kill here? Wait, she's actually gonna walk forward so fast, we may as well stay here. Nice one. Jeez. Maybe I go for one more wave. Think it should be fine. Alright, I'm out. I got kind of scared when your chakrams dropped right before the flash. Shit, did they? Oh, I didn't even notice that. I was flashing to preserve the chakrams. Also trying to preserve... Actually, no, that's not even true. I was flashing to preserve the Braum passive stacks. I didn't even consider that the chakrams might have also, like, be running out. I was sure they would still be there, that I didn't have to worry about them. Jeez. She got one shot by Vayne. I didn't even see her HP bar disappear. I just assumed she went into stealth, but she was dead. Dead. Got him. Gotta be careful about a mess until I've got access to white. If she ults me. Well, we have enough teammates around now that it shouldn't matter, but... If I was stuck with white... with a purple red. She dived on me with only Braum around. I wasn't super sure if I'd win. She's not fat or anything, but she is pretty farmed. It's a shame the Braum passive ran out exactly as... Oop, damn. Oh my god! All that damage. I'm good though, I got bear if I need it. Nice. Oh, she's doing crit Vayne. I want to try that build at some point. Alright, we'll base. Maybe not the safest spot to base. But we'll slap without a little danger. And next up we'll do shield bow. I'm gonna have to flash into a safer spot, but against him we're fine at least. Ow. Ow. Stop focusing me. Misty Cannon. No! No, I didn't reset my chakrams. Oh, and I didn't put this in range of the turret anyway, my bad. Just would have been fun to melt this with chakrams. Alright, when did we take this inhib, by the way? I felt like we took this too early. Baron isn't up for ages. We're just gonna give him free farm now. Especially Vayne can just melt those supers insanely fast. She can get a lot of free farm from this. But what we can do with this map pressure we have is just try and take control of their jungle entirely. Make sure that, you know, at least Vayne is gonna get farmed, sure, but at least Wukong should never touch a camp. Here he is. Got that. Nice. Yeah, I think the Collector has been fine this game, to be honest. Paid off fine. Like, I wasn't really losing damage second item for doing it, because they didn't have much armor anyway. What I should experiment with more is, like, again, there's the components build path, but with Collector instead of Infinity Edge. Might be something I'm underrating. I don't want to team fight melees. Well, oh this path thing is not what I was trying to take, by the way. What the fuck? He's dead. Why did it path? I think it's because one of my teammates must have been blocking me while I was trying to path to the left, and it forced me into the right. Jesus. Let's see if they fish back into us. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Habit to take the small ones, but I had the flame, so I also wanted the big one. I love Aphelios Assault, it's such a shame I feel like an idiot more than I should. It happens. The thing to understand about Aphelios Assault is the width is lower than you expect, but the range is higher than you expect. Keep those in mind and you'll land some really sick ults, and hopefully avoid missing the really dumb ones, but it's still gonna happen. You can try and gank kill. Baron isn't up for a little bit longer still. Does she have vision? Possibly. They definitely have a ward there. Okay, fuck it. Urgothel doesn't even execute her, what the hell? Smelia is almost dead, by the way. This is the really troll ult, but... Oh! Somehow he lived? Actually hit him though. He died to red buff, oh my god. So he must have ulted and shielded, I think, to save himself. It was a dumb ult because it was too ambitious to think it would hit Melio. Like, it actually missed, but because it hit the Vayne by coincidence, not what I was aiming for, it just happened to explode also, and like the range of the explosion also hit Melio, but if it hadn't exploded, it wouldn't have hit him. So I got really lucky there. I shouldn't have wasted ult like that. Whoa. Alright, GG.